سبيل الدموع سبيل مريح تنهدى يا صاحي كي تستريح وبث الدعاء الخفي الصريح.
الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. It's funny how you do something so often and still your mind plays tricks with you. That I will not disclose what I was thinking. We have now discussed under the rulings on types of water, the absolute water and how it's becoming pure in terms of its state of purity. We're going to now talk about water which has now become impure. Something which has become ritually impure and something which has become physically impure, because we should hopefully be beginning to understand that there is a ritual impurity and there is a physical impurity, both in body and also in the item which is used to purify, which in this case is water. Now the first one, which is something which is considered as ritually impure but not physically impure, is something called al-ma'ul musta'mal. And this is water which is being used for a ritual purification, because this water was used as a means to draw closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it is still considered pure. What do we mean by it's still considered as pure? Meaning if a person was to drop water, so if a person is performing wudu and that water is falling on their clothes, then that does not mean that their clothes have become impure. This water is still pure. Okay, but it's lost its purifying aspect because it's already been used. And what is al-ma'ul musta'mal? Ma'ul musta'mal is that water which leaves the body. Okay, like I described to you, that the water actually starts to drip off the arm or whatever else is got to talk about. Now one can also include within this section, even though I didn't mention it, is that type of water which is a pure, which is water, but it has had a pure liquid or a pure solid mixed into it. So for example, fruit juice, okay, you've got Ribena or something like that. So in this case, what's happening here is that it's still pure. Okay, so if somebody spills Ribena on themselves, it's still pure. You're naked, this has become impure and they've got to wash it or something. Obviously it makes sense to wash it because it's not going to please the person who's responsible. It's not going to please you, obviously, if you've got this huge Ribena stain on your jubba. And I've got nothing against Ribena, so I'm talking about any drink. Ribena was the first one that came into my head. So it's still considered pure. This, because what it's doing in some cases, when you add a solid, for example, is you're changing its viscosity. And viscosity is the thinness or thickness. Like when you have honey is really thick, so when you move it around, it moves really slowly. It's like lazy water. But water is kind of like naturally its flowability. And if you've ever got diesel or petrol, you'll see that it is even less viscous than water. So viscosity is a scientific term to describe the flowability or the movability of water. And viscosity is a key characteristic of water. In fact, it defines it as water. Otherwise, if it retains its absoluteness in that the leaves can physically be moved from it, and the water still retaining its qualities, then it's all good. Or the water is mixed with sand and it's looking really funny, but as soon as you filter the sand away, the water is retaining its qualities, then it's fine. Like we discussed when we talked about lakes and reservoirs. So that's al-ma'ul musta'mal, and that's also something which I've included within that under that discussion. We're now left with filthy water. And that will be the last part, but I recognize that we've got we've just got about 60 seconds left, so there's no point me starting on filthy water. So we'll leave that there, inshallah ta'ala, and I hope you can join me again for the last part, which will be part F, as I make a note of it. The last part will be part F, and then our section on rulings on types of water will be complete, and then next we'll turn to types of filth. So I hope you can join me again for the next part. Wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. يسعك الفضاء